All right, let's get started. I'm going to bring it over here.
Let's be honest. Launching a business, it can be so overwhelming, even with the best of teams.
But you have a team. A lot of people that are entrepreneurs don't have a team. They start from nothing with no one, single and alone. You have a team. Okay, let's continue. That was just in my heart, and I felt like I needed to say it.
Whew, it'll keep you up at night. Because every single decision, every micro detail, in that moment, it feels monumental. For example, a month ago, I was absolutely consumed with packaging. Boxes. That's all I could think about. And I would sit there doing the unboxing in my head. Is there tissue paper? What about the packing peanuts? But they're biodegradable. And where does the sticker go? And hold on, what size the box is going to be? And no, that's not going to fit all the SKUs. Oh my gosh. And then someone says, but you don't want to brand the outside of the box because of porch pirates. Had never heard that before. What's a porch pirate? And then I'm sitting there and I'm like, does any of this actually matter? Of course it matters. It matters at the beginning, but how much does it matter? And the person that I knew was perfect to talk to about this, that had to lead the season. Well, she's one of my close friends. She's the founder of the dating app Bumble. She's been named one of Time Magazine's
Okay, let's pause it there because launching a business, everybody knows, can be tough. Absolutely. You know, it's here and there that people are like, it was so easy. Meghan's journey should have been easy because she has an actual staff. She has actual people helping her from the start. But she didn't take advantage of it. Many of us starting a new business will worry, maybe about finances, marketing, staffing. But if you're Meghan Markle, you're trying to figure out what porch pirates are. Like, if that's actually a thing, tell me that you're not from middle class without telling me you're not middle class. Porch pirates have been a thing. Please, nobody tell her about porch pirates during the holiday season. She would have a meltdown. Okay, so picture this. Wide awake, consumed with packaging details. Stickers, tissue paper, biodegradable packing peanuts, clearly critical world issues for Meghan. But then somebody mentions to her porch pirates. Meghan is utterly bewildered. Yes, porch pirates exist. Maybe not behind your Montecito gated community. While most entrepreneurs lose sleep worrying about budget, sales, or keeping the lights on, Meghan loses sleep discovering boxes can be stolen. Like she just found out the tooth fairy isn't real. Like, oh my goodness. After all, how would Meghan know about porch pirates when she has a courier or, a personal assistant that takes in her packages for her? Okay.
Influential people, in-style women changing the world. The list goes on and on and on. You've heard of her. It's Whitney Wolfe Herd.
No, I've never heard of her.
Not only is Whitney a wildly successful female entrepreneur, but she's the kind of friend who just always seems to know the exact right thing to say when I need perspective.
Did you try your best? Did you really give it your all? If you missed the meetings for the packaging and you let it slide till the final hour, then that's not great. But if you gave it your all and this is the way it ended up, it's going to be good. It's going to be great.
And Whit is an undeniable visionary, but what I love most about her is her ability to cut through the noise, focus on what truly matters, and be vulnerable in the honesty of what that experience has been like. Even when you're like me, you're sitting on stressful packaging. You're in for a treat.
Wow. Thankfully, Brittany has provided groundbreaking wisdom to Meghan. I hope she takes it. It's if you actually show up to your job and try it hard, it's probably fine. Revolutionary. Thank you, Whitney. Who knew the secret to entrepreneurs' success was just simply not blowing off important meetings about boxes until the last second? But okay, I know I'm coming off a little bit sarcastic, but all of this is currently just common sense at the moment. The highlight here is Meghan casually reminding us multiple times that Whitney is her friend. Let's remember that. Her very famous, very successful friend who always knows the exact thing to say about life's truly pressing concerns. And thank goodness Meghan has someone to cut through the noise, since apparently choosing packing peanuts can get pretty loud and stressful. And again, where was all this advice when Meghan was struggling and sinking? She doesn't take advice. She likes to say, wow, that was brilliant, but my way is better.
I'm just so happy to see you, and this is going to be so much fun.
I know. And honestly, I just want the conversations to feel relaxed and easy.
Yeah.
And also thinking about how I am just in it right now. Talking to people who've also been so in.
She's in it right now? What is she in it? Like she's finally showing up to work?
It.
Yeah.
And have so many iterations, whether they've IPO'd or they're at the beginning of their climb, or they said, great, I'm done, and then came back.
Yeah, those things happen.
And then the evolution of that. So I want to talk about all that, but I think when it's friends that are on with me, that we have such a deep personal relationship and connection and love, as opposed to starting with just where it all began for you. I want to start with where we first met.
Oh my gosh, she really, really is at it. Like, she's my friend. She's my friend. You see, I have friends. They just don't like to be filmed, but I have friends. Okay. How did you guys meet?
Love that. Oh, God.
Do you remember?
When I came to your house in a disco cowboy outfit?
Yes.
I was like, how am I going to meet?
How am I going to meet
this iconic, elegant, classy couple, and I'm wearing a rhinestone disco crystal ball cowboy outfit because that was the theme on New Year's Eve.
That was, yes, that was the theme for the party you were heading to after you had dropped by our place. And it wasn't the theme of our house.
No.
We were having one of those quiet, we have young kids, we aren't having a night out kind of New Year's Eves where we would have, I'd call it East Coast New Year's. So that ball is dropping for our 9 p.m. and I'm going to bed. Yeah. But you guys came over with our other friends, and it was the first time we met the two of you. And to this day, Archie still will say, when do we get to see the Cowboys again?
This is
you would have that.
there she goes, bringing in the children. But let me go ahead, because I was looking her up right now. Here she is. Her name is Whitney Wolfhard. And myself over here, she's 35 years old. Okay, what does her wiki say? She was named at 100, became the world's youngest female billionaire. This is why Meghan wants to be a billionaire, because people younger than her are billionaires. And all she has is a title. Oh my goodness. Okay, so it says in 2012, at age 22, Hurd joined the startup Cartify, and a project led by Sean Rad through the Hatchlands incubator. The project was later abandoned, but Wolfhard joined the development team for the dating app Tinder, previously known as Matchbox, with Rad and Chris. Wolfhard became vice president of marketing. This is all in, like, before she turns 25. Okay, Meghan, she's a billionaire because she did everything at a young age. She was reportedly behind the name, the app, taking inspiration from the flame. Well, Meghan just steals. She doesn't take inspiration. She outright just steals. And the idea of Tinder, which is easily combustible material used to start a fire. Okay, she was also been credited with fueling its popularity on college campuses and growing, of course, because she was in her 20s. Obviously, now that makes sense. Wolfhard resigned from Tinder in 2014 due to growing tensions with other company executives. On June 30th, she filed a lawsuit against Tinder for sexual harassment. I'm starting to think this is where she got more money. She reportedly received more than $1 million as well as stock as part of the settlement. Ding, 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 ding. Stock right there. Having received online hate, Wolfhard started sketching out a female-only social network centered around compliments, which was to be called Mercy, even though she didn't. Isn't there a candy named Mercy? Merci. Even though she didn't want to go back to the dating industry initially, in the following months she cooperated with Badoo founder and Audrey as assembling a team and developing new female-friendly dating apps. She planned to name the app Moxie, which this name was already taken. So then she goes on to Bumble. What is that? Pretty much. That's how she made her money with dating applications. Got it.
First impression for him is so ingrained that even though, yes, I mean, your husband is a cowboy, and yes, you guys, like, that is a huge part of your life, but to see a real cowboy as what was he at the time? 2 or 3?
Oh my gosh, he was so tiny, and they were so sweet. They were the sweetest. And I think Archie ran out in like a Batman suit or some. Oh, yeah, it was like PJ Masks. PJ Masks. One of those. Yeah, that was the beginning of our whirlwind.
That was the beginning, and that was even where I didn't think it was going to become a friendship that would also be in many ways the soundboard for me with work and business. And I was still in such an incubation stage, not even of a brand, but just an ideation of.
What are you saying? Okay, first of all, this is boring. This is, I guess, the part of girl talk she's talking about, but they're just talking about Archie and, I don't know, more like mom talk, not girl talk. And she was in an incubation stage. What are you talking about, Megan?
What it could be. And you always, I mean, think about so many times sitting there where you're like, okay, let's talk it through. Let's make a plan. What's the business plan? What do you want to do? What's your essence? No, wait, this could be right for you. And just helping me was.
No way. Okay. So you mean to tell me that you had this lady, what's her name? Forgot her. Whitney, helping you, and you still fumbled it very hard. Oh my God, that makes me giggle. It's like having a coach, a business coach, for free. She practically wants to be your business coach because she thinks you're an elegant woman, and you still go out and fumble the ball? Oh my goodness.
So many people, I think, often will make the false assumption that when someone is really successful, part of that success is because they keep it close, where really part of that success is because you share it so broadly.
I think that's beautiful.
And so generously. No, but it's true. I'm talking about you. Like, that's how you show up. And I've loved that. We've never actually talked extensively about everything that happened with you and your career trajectory. And a lot of it is like covered ground. So I don't need us to go through all that. I think people know your story of going from
no, I don't know her story. I had to look it up.
Tinder and then certainly creating your own thing. But I would love to talk about even before all of that. Before all of that, what was that voice inside? Who was that person inside that knew that you had an entrepreneurial spirit or not?
No, I think that's amazing. And I will say, I do think your story is just you. Like, it's just an embodiment of you. And I always think that those are the best entrepreneurs, where they just basically, I don't know, it's like they bottle their essence, and that doesn't have to be a perfume company, right?
Oh, that keeps coming up. That's so wild. Yeah. So that exact thing. Yes, your essence. How do you bottle your essence?
Yeah, it's like, how do you bring you to the world? And what's interesting, I've always said this about consumer products and technology. You can feel the DNA of the founders or the founder in the product you use. And so I just think that that is really what true entrepreneurship is real people solving real problems and putting their real energy and passion into it. And then that manifests into whatever it is. And I always joke, I'm like, I didn't wake up at 6 and be like, I want to have a dating app. You know?
Oh, I dislike very much, to the point of I hate people that are like, I manifested this. There's no such thing as manifestation. You worked for it. You created it. You, or like Megan, you weaseled your way into the royal family. You created it because you were taking either the right steps or the sneaky steps to get to where you are now. It's not about manifesting. Manifesting is like witchcraft or something. Manifesting is not the correct word. And I believe that's on buzzwords, but that's my personal opinion on it. What this lady did, she created the first app, then she left, then she got $1 million plus stocks. With that, I'm assuming, because I don't know much about her, she was able to create another application. Now, Meghan and her are talking about just, how do we create that essence and put it in a bottle? How are you doing that with this brand, with As Ever brand? I want to know. Like, where's your essence? Rabbit treats, that's your essence? I can see that. But no, so far I haven't learned anything. So far, I don't think any of this is mind-blowing. Let me know if you've gotten anything from here.
That's not how it happened.
No.
Yeah. Authentically, you knew that there was a need and you figured out a different way to fill that need.
Yes, I think it was just always in me. And it's so funny. Everyone always says, like, oh, I wonder if entrepreneurs were always entrepreneurial. And I don't think that means you had to have, like, sold out the lemonade stand as a 10-year-old.
Okay, now it makes sense because Meghan just did this on her Instagram today, and I was like, why did she put that? This makes sense. This is what she put. She put a picture of this. Being an entrepreneur can start young. By the way, all these years later, I'm still selling cookies. Tune in for the premiere episode of Confessions of a Female Founder featuring my dear friend Whitney, now streaming wherever you get your podcasts at Limonada Media.
I really don't think that that's the true metric of a young entrepreneur. I think it was, how did you move through the world? How did you think about lines and boundaries? How did you think about following rules or thinking outside of the box? And so many of us put through school systems, as we all are, we actually get rewarded for following along and doing what everybody else is doing. If you think about it, like structurally, you get an A if you answered the question right and somebody wrote the question and the answer for you.
Okay, so I agree on this. It's the mentality that you have. And I always had a lot of trouble with, I was a good student. Like, I knew, like, just tell me what to do, I'll get an A. Great. But once I got out in the real world, that's not how the real world works. It's like, it's who you know, it's how you talk. It really does shake you. So being in school is not the same as coming out in the real world. So she does have a point here, but again, I'm not learning anything.
Now, obviously, there's some creative classes where you're rewarded for thinking different, but the basic curriculum and framework in our lives is follow the rules, be on time. So we're not trained to be rewarded to be these free thinkers and, movers and shakers. And I always struggled with that, candidly, growing up. I was like, why do I have to check the same box as everybody else? I want to do things differently.
Yeah, and I think most people would be surprised to know that Bumble, even you wanting to do something differently, was not called Bumble at first.
Yeah.
Can you just talk a little bit about your original concept, which was an app called Merci, and where did that name come from? What was the intention?
Well, the original intention behind Bumble was actually not a dating app. It was meant to be essentially girls and women only social network where we could encourage kindness amongst women, because I was being, certainly not to the degree that you've experienced, but I was being bullied on the internet when I left Tinder because of the lawsuit.
And that was the lawsuit for sexual harassment that you were experiencing.
Yeah, when I left the company, there was a whole fallout.
Wow. Okay, so Meghan is okay bringing up this issue, this thing with her, right? And you can see the change of tone in her voice. It kind of went from, it's really cute and I like the podcast here. But then it just went super dark. And so it's okay for Meghan to come up with this stuff and speak about it and ask people about their personal stuff. But no. Please don't ask Meghan about hers and her lies or anything, because she won't answer. Everything will be scripted, just like in the Drew Barrymore show. It's been said that it was a scripted interview. So I don't know.
And
I don't like this.
Because of the fallout, I could have never imagined nor predicted the level of attention it got from the media. I truly, in my mind, I was like a 24-year-old random young woman. I'm like, why does anybody care what I'm doing, And
why do you think it garnered so much attention?
Well, I think the issue is
the same reason that you garner a lot of attention, Meghan. Oh my gosh, why?
were so insular in our work at Tinder. Like, it was like all day, nonstop startup world. Like, you know, you lived it, you breathed it. Because of that, I don't think there was any perspective of how big it got in the world. I had no idea. I mean, I knew by volume and the magnitude of the registration data and the data, right? Of course. So I conceptually understood that this was a product that was growing and working. But man, I had no perspective of the cultural interest in it. And so when this all unfolded, here I naively thought, oh, this will just be like between me and them, and it will get swept under the rug, and this will just be behind us. And then next thing you know, it's the front page of every global newspaper, and it's exposés in every magazine. And this just doesn't stop. It goes on and on and on and on.
And you're 24.
I'm 24, and I'm not in the public eye. Like, I am not famous. I don't come from...
Oh my God. You can hear Meghan. Yes, I feel for you, but I get it a lot worse. A lot worse. Yeah, because you were at fault, Meghan. Like, this girl was just 20-ish years old. She did this thing, and it was he said, she said. I'm guessing. I don't know the details behind it, but you're sympathizing with her as if you went through the same thing. No, yours is not bullying. Yours is people just telling you, hey, you were wrong. Hey, stop lying about this. Hey, we caught you in this lie. That's it. That has nothing to do. There's no similarity in your situation and hers.
Like, any type of famous family. So I just figured, like, this will just blow over. So I was like, okay, I'll just go to the future. I'm going to build something great. I'm going to start over. And lo and behold, and I will come back to the Mirror Seat piece, but because of the nature of it being technically another dating app, I just got dragged into this swell again. It was like, you know, getting beat up in the ocean and you couldn't catch a breath. You're like, oh my gosh, no one wants to leave me alone. So Meg, it wasn't until like 4, 5, 6 years into building Bumble until people stopped with the Tinder comparisons. I had to literally like outgrow them to some degree to stand on my own 2 feet. But back to Merci, like,
No, but what did that feel like for those 4 to 5 years?
horrible.
Oh my God, no. But I want you to stay there where it felt terrible. Tell me more about it. Do not jump over it or gloss over it. I want to know everything. Did you cry in the restroom while you were showering? Were you in bed for days because you know, because that happens to me. That's how I feel. Like she's just poking a bear. Or no, not poking a bear. Like poking while she's down. Like, yeah, poking while she's down. Like, let her get through her story.
I mean, that's why when I see the way that, you know, you've been treated in the media, which is a magnitude I'll never understand, but my heart breaks for you. I'm like, it's not fair and it's brutalizing. And so,
well, and maybe because you understand it in whatever degree, you know how to show up for me.
And
Oh my gosh. Well, maybe because you understand it. Nobody else understands it. That I get to say all the lies that I want to the world. And I believe them. So they should believe them. They should be with me as well. No. Okay, that's not... Okay. Like, that's not the way it's supposed to go. She knows exactly why people dislike her. Imagine having Meghan Markle as your sister-in-law. And she does all of this in your family. And then she still plays the victim card.
maybe. I mean, listen, I honestly, I can't imagine, but I can't, because what has happened to you is at such a magnitude that no one can understand. Can I share the story of where I had that revelation when I was walking through the airport in Ireland?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so I stopped through the airport in Ireland and I walked over by whatever their equivalent of like a W.H. Smith or whatever those Hudson. And yes. And my jaw hit the floor. You were the cover of every single magazine and newspaper in Ireland.
Wow. Okay, so she is making it about Meghan Markle. It's all about, I feel so sorry for you. If people understood the magnitude that you have to... No, she understands. Trust me. She understands exactly what she's done and what kind of magnitude. She knows. Because now, instead of saying, but me, it's like she told Whitney, make sure to put me into the perspective of you. That way it's not me talking about me, it's you talking about me. That's how it sounds like. Oh my gosh, have we not outgrown archetypes?
Ireland. And every single one said something different. I mean, a random headline. You were the cover of every single one of those magazines, tabloids, and newspapers. And I had this moment where I was like,
and this was a couple of years ago.
Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, what? Like, I'm in Ireland. She's back home in California with her kids, like doing school drop off. And she's the front.
Okay, I have an issue here. I want to say school drop-off. What drop-off? Who's going to school? Why does she keep saying this? How old is Archie? What school is he going to? Lily's not going to school. Is she dropping her off at daycare? Like, school drop-off? What? I want to know. Like, is he really going to school? That would only be Archie. Like, it's not going to be Lily. Has anybody ever caught on to that? Like, she keeps saying the school drop-off. I was like, I don't even think Archie is big enough to go to school. It's probably like pre-kinder or early childhood development or something. But school? I think she's dropping it off with a nanny or something. I don't know. That's just my opinion.
Page of every single one of these things. What are they talking about? Like, there's no content. There's nothing to say. So, I mean, I just had this moment where I was like, wow, this is a different beast. I mean,
but it doesn't feel different, whether it's at that scale or not.
No, but I do think there is so much to be said for your ability to exist.
Because she's a narcissist. That's just my opinion. She's a narcissist, and they feed off of attention, regardless of what kind of attention it is.
Even in the presence of that, like, that takes a very strong cookie, you know? Because I remember when I was going through the media being called.
All right. So yes, Meghan is a strong cookie. We have not debated that. This is why she gets away with everything she's been able to get away with, because she's strong enough to be like, screw you, royal family, screw you, Harry, screw everybody, because it's my way or the highway. That is a tough cookie, but it doesn't mean she's a good, tough cookie. It means that she's a difficult cookie.
All this and that and this and that at Tinder. I didn't leave my house for like a month and a half. I was completely paranoid. I was totally depressed. I was scared to go to the grocery store. I was humiliated. I was embarrassed. I didn't want to go to a party where I'd see anyone because
you wondered if they believed it.
Yeah, what are they thinking about me? They must think I'm on this. I must think I'm on that. And so I like shrunk into this shell of myself where.
All right. So she's talking about how she felt during her stage of conflict. This is natural. But I'm guessing that she tried to overcome it, right? But Meghan's like, yeah, so. Like, she doesn't care. She's like, I don't care. I do not lose sleep because I love it.
We turtle.
Yeah, I just turtled. I was like, wow, I'm never going outside again. I'll just live in my own isolated world. But then I decided, I was like, I'm going to rebuild myself.
But how did that happen? How did you come out of the shell and decide to move past that? Because I think that's really important for people to hear. No matter whatever scale they're at, there's going to be a point where you're going to take a hit.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a point where you're going to have to decide if you're going to cower or if you're going to conquer or if you're going to rise above it. But it will be helpful for people to know what was the pivotal point where you just said, okay, I can't do this anymore. I've got to figure out a way out, and how.
Yeah, I had a moment where I realized it was crazy. It was almost like an out-of-body moment where I was reading all these crazy things about myself on Twitter or whatever the format was at the time.
You were reading it all.
Oh, yeah, of course. Because I was like, what is this? Like a crazy. I know. Lesson learned. But yeah.
She's sorry that she had to read about it. Oh, that sounds weird.
I remember thinking, oh my God. And I think I had this like out-of-body experience where I put myself into my 13-year-old body. And I thought, excuse my French, like, imagine being 13 years old and dealing with this type of behavior from the kids at school that you think are the center of the world.
Yes.
Like, Imagine if these people talking about you were the kids you looked up to at school or wanted to be a part of their group at school. And then you got picked up from school, and when we grew up, Meg, we could go home with no devices.
And that was it.
That was it. You're out of the battle zone. You're done. Get to escape until tomorrow. They're going home and they're reading that all night long. And I literally was like, oh my God, I think I just went through this. I think this just happened for me, not to me. And my entire mindset shifted. And I was like, okay.
Oh my God, this is so boring. Like, I haven't learned anything. There's nothing new. All right, before they get to their point, I guess I'll tell you the way I get myself out of slumps. Because every single day I get up and I'm thankful, grateful, and blessed to have another day. That alone puts me in a grateful, loving mood. Second, if my day goes to trash, I'm thankful that I have a day that went to trash because there was a lesson there, because I get to do it all over again tomorrow and correct the problem, or I remember that I am blessed to have what I currently have because other people don't have it. I always have in my mindset, like, thank you, Lord, that there's food in my fridge and I'm able to cook myself lunch, breakfast, dinner today. Thank you for allowing me to have another beautiful day with air, with everyone that loves me around me. And even in the time of death, when I've had my dad pass away and close ones pass away, I'm like, thank you for allowing me to have my father with me for the allotted time that he was here with me. Because I know there's some other children or some other people, some other families that never got their dad, never got the opportunity for that. So that is the way I get myself out of ruts, whether it's in business or whether it's in life. It is the same all around. I'm always thankful because what I have now, other people would love to have, or what I have currently or what I've had, I'm thankful because I know other people didn't have it. Regardless of how much I've had, there's others that have so much less. So there you go. Let's see what kind of that's my that's my gift to you guys. That's how I get out of a rut, or whether it's business or in life.
What almost killed me can make us stronger. I have to go fix this problem for 13-year-olds. Like, I have to go fix this problem for young girls and women.
Yes.
And so that kicked off the beginning of Merci, which was meant to be the reason why the name. Wow, that was a 25-minute long-winded way of getting to the answer.
I didn't help, by the way. But it's important. But it's an important background to get back to the why.
It is. And I think ultimately why I was going to call it Merci is I wanted it to be an environment of thanks and gratitude. And thank you in French is merci. I speak French. I just like the name. I thought it was cute. And the currency of the product, the core defining feature of the product was going to be compliments only. No comments, just compliments.
Oh, I see.
And there's a lot of literature and a lot of studies out there that actually show you the power of compliments. How if you compliment someone, you can have this butterfly effect on multiple people's days.
Absolutely. I agree with that. And I've given Meghan Markle many compliments. Yeah, she is a tough cookie. Maybe not the best cookie, but she's a tough cookie. It's not one that I would want in my household, but she's a tough cookie. And she's a hustler, not a very successful one, but she's a hustler. She got to the royal family and plucked out her prince and took him to California. Many compliments, many compliments.
You say something kind to someone, it's a ripple effect. They might say something kind to the next person. It changes the course of the energy of the day. And so I figured let's engineer positivity into a product. Long story short, couldn't find any funding, randomly got contacted by my former business partner and investor. He kind of said, listen, I'm all for whatever this is because I can feel your passion, but my one prerequisite is that you got to figure out how to do it in dating. I thought he was crazy. I said goodbye to him. I never intended on speaking to him again. But then I kind of started thinking, wait a second, maybe dating is not so dissimilar from this. Like maybe dating is broken for girls and women too. And most certainly that was a correlation to my dating experiences. You know, in high school, I had a terribly abusive boyfriend. And then I just found myself in these toxic relationships time after time. And I realized like, wow, this is systemic. This is not just about a social network. This is about behaviors. And that was kind of the beginning of women making their first move on Bumble. So that's the long-winded version.
I am so confused. Someone that had a boyfriend, did she say that? Or did I just doze off?
Or from this, like maybe dating is broken for girls and women too. And most certainly that was a correlation to my dating experiences. You know, in high school, I had a terribly abusive boyfriend.
So she has a terribly abusive boyfriend, yet she creates a dating app. And then like that just doesn't compute in my head. If it computes in yours, let me know. Because when I was single and I tried Bumble, I think it was Bumble. No, it was Bumble that I tried. I never tried Tinder. I don't think I did. But they were horrible. They were horrible dating. Like I did not like dating, period. Or using those dating apps. You met the worst of the worst. I don't know if that's still the same. I have not been on those apps in a very, very long time. But still, I'm just thinking like, okay, if you were... wouldn't you want to put better measures or like a 5-star? Like this guy is awesome. He's off the thing. Or like don't date him. He has a lot of red flags. I don't know. That just does not seem like someone who is in an abusive relationship would go and do. But hey, we all do things because of what we know.
John, just now, having been in an abusive relationship or a toxic relationship, you look at what you've manifested now in your life with this incredible, loving, this can be husband,
Crazy cowboy.
and 2 boys.
Yes.
I mean, it is no mistake that you ended up with 2 boys when so much of it for you is rewriting the history of what men and boys should be in the world, and that you are the one that is responsible for creating the next generation of really good men. You are married to one, and then you have these 2 just incredible boys.
They're so sweet.
But it's so interesting.
It is.
You have a family of boys. You're surrounded by this energetic circle of the opposite of
I get it. She has boys. She's got boys.
toxic masculinity.
That is very true. And I will tell you, Meg, the one thing I have learned in my journey, and it's so interesting because this is exactly what we're focusing on at Bumble, is at the end of the day, none of this is really just about girls or boys versus girls. It's all about the way we love ourselves or we don't. And what I've seen with boys and men through my wild journey of running these products at scale with millions of people doing millions of crazy things every day, I've really learned one thing, and it is a bunch of hurting people. And that's really what it boils down to. And so you've kind of just nailed it in this like manifestation of like something better and positive. And what that really boils down to is I had to learn how to like myself over the years. And when I look back on these relationships, I'm like, oh, I must have really hated myself because I tolerated that and I put up with that.
Yeah.
Oh, there he goes again with the manifestation. It's not manifestation. You're learning, you're doing differently, you're making sure that you do what you need to do. And of course, as you're growing up, you're going to learn to do better. The only reason you don't learn to do better is because you continue doing the same thing over and over again. And it's not about I didn't love myself. It's just I didn't know any better. I didn't. And we all have that. Because I go back and I think about what I've done. I think about being 10, 15, 20. The mistakes I have done in my past was because I didn't know better or I didn't listen. And of course, with age, you grow, you mature, and you learn and you do better.
And look, I think you and I have really connected on that in a huge way. But I remember a quote from years ago. I can't remember who said it, but it's something to the effect.
Yeah, these ladies are like living in quotes. I still have not learned anything from them.
It's not verbatim. In a world that capitalizes on your self-doubt, loving yourself is a revolutionary act.
I love that quote. It's some version of that. You're right.
Or even liking yourself is a revolutionary act.
Yes. Yes.
You create a space with the intention, even if it morphed into something that ended up dating aligned, the root, the origin was still about autonomy, self-love, making sure that you could really advocate for yourself and be in a relationship or even the
Okay, does this sound like she's just making excuses for her bad behavior? Because that's what it sounds to me. Like she's trying to make sure to say all of this information to tell you, because I love myself, I'm doing all of this. So if you self-destruct another family, or if you destruct another family, it's fine because you did not self-destruct and you love yourself, so you took your husband and plucked him. Okay. And I believe love is making sure that the person you have chosen as your mate, that you choose to become a family. You become a family. There's going to be ups and downs. Absolutely. There's going to be arguments and you all have to mend. And mending is not an easy thing. Some people mend seamlessly. Other people, it's hard work, especially when you come from different backgrounds. But Meghan, I just think she's making excuses for all the collateral damage that she has caused.
Stability of a relationship that's rooted in something that's healthy.
Yeah.
And because it was so authentic to you, that's how you ended up scaling to the tremendous success that you were. I mean, I'm sure the first time I ever heard about you was in Time magazine, being the youngest self-made billionaire, female billionaire. Huge. What on earth did that feel like?
Well, what's funny? It's like, at my on-paper richest, I was my inward poorest.
What does that mean to you?
That means that what it took out of me to hit those milestones actually robbed me of my real wealth. The ability to connect with myself, to take time for myself, to focus on my physical, mental, spiritual health, to focus on my relationships, to focus on the things that actually make you the wealthiest in life. So while my financial wealth on paper was this like crazy headline and like world record thing, whatever, it didn't even matter because all these other buckets were so low. And so what has been beautiful.
All right. So that's something I understand because I do this all the time. And if you don't know this, being wealthy is not by how much money you have. Being wealthy is about what you have. Meaning what kind of love you have, what kind of family you have. Do you have a family? Are you guys united? Do you enjoy time together? Are you working on your relationships? It's about the people that surround you. And that's it. Because I know work is the lowest priority in my list. Because spending time with my loved ones is 1000% my priority. Because without them on earth, I am no one. I don't have anyone. I could have $1 billion, like this lady said, and I could still be the saddest, miserable lowlife, like not having anyone. Having people, having my family with me is the most rewarding part of being alive. Everything else is secondary. Everything. And you know what? This reminds me of, I believe the name is Martha and Mary and Martha. So the story of Martha and Mary always stays in my head because Martha is the one that is busy in the background, making sure everything gets served, making sure everything's clean, making sure everyone is filled with, being served, right? And Mary is over here listening to Jesus and being very attentive, listening to what he's saying. So Martha is in the background like, what? like what, Mary? Help me out. There's like a lot of people. I need help. And she tells Jesus, and Jesus tells her, Mary is prioritizing what she needs to learn, where she needs to be. This is like, I'm here and everybody's here. And so I always think of that. And that story has stayed in my heart. Because I have been Martha many times where I'm like, I'm busy, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. No, I need to stop. Things can wait. And I need to prioritize people before things, before work, before anything else. These are not new things. These, I think, are simple things that humans should always care about. First, it should be your family, the people. Everything else comes second.
And I wrote a letter to myself over the summer, actually. Our stock hit an all-time low. And I wrote a letter to myself that day, and I said, today is one of the best days of my life. I said, because my other buckets of wealth are so overflowing that it just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter what a stock price is today. It's not how I measure my worth.
But what made you in that want to write a letter to yourself? How would that become a part of a practice for you?
I just thought, you know what, I better clock in and I better check in because I want to remember this day. I want to remember this day. I want to remember that I got to a place of self-growth where on a day that should feel like the worst day in terms of riding the wave.
All right, so I understand this because people are huge on journaling. I've never been huge on journaling. I can't journal. I get very distracted. I don't know if I have like ADHD or anything, but I cannot sit down and just journal. I can't. I've tried it. It's not in me. I'm not that type of person. I'm the type of person that I was like, yep, I'm not doing that. Like everything stays in my head. And my husband always tells me, you have a way of doing things that are, in his term, weird. Because I'll remember the most random things, the most minute things. And he was like, what? How did you remember that tiny detail? Oh, because that tiny detail is what changes, or it's what's gonna be done differently for the fact that it didn't work last time. But you know what? That detail is what's gonna change for this next time. So I understand some people need to journal. Other people just full on go and do things, or they know that at the moment of change, they change it. And that's the type of person I am. I was like, nope, this is where I have to clock it in and say, I'm not going to be the same as I was before. I'm going to clock it in and do different. And that's what she's doing different. But she needs to write it down, which is fine. There's a lot of people that enjoy journaling.
Waves of success, right? Things always go up and down. And I just remember I wrote myself a letter and I just said, this is like the best day ever. I have healthy children and I love my husband. It's beautiful where I am. I hiked, I meditated. Like I just reflected in this moment of gratitude of all the things I do have. And I think it's a really good reminder to people that you have to take stock of how you measure your happiness, your wealth, and how you define it.
Take stock in your actual stock.
That's right.
I think it's amazing how evolved you are. It takes a lot of years for most people to be able to have that level of wisdom and an internal compass. It really does. And I mean,
oh my God, she has no rebuttal. Like she really does not know how to interview people. All she has to say is like, oh, wow, that's amazing. You know, this is interesting that throughout all your journey, you've been able to access this new information, implement the new information, and make a change in your life. But Meghan, let's go ahead and talk about you for a second. All this stuff that you've done and you still don't change and you still do not implement new things and you're completely doing the same thing over and over again. And you have these people, all this information, all this wealth of information and people working for you and you know entrepreneurs that have been billionaires and you still don't do any different. Right there is a big red flag.
Especially when you spent a career doing the work, the business work. How would you approach that? Or what advice, I guess, would you give to people who are listening that say, okay, well, you're saying you felt so depleted and the buckets were so low or so empty in all these other categories, but it's because of that you were able to still get to this number and get those metrics. And isn't that the goal? And then you could fill up your cups again. Would you do it differently?
Totally. And I think, you know, the one thing I can offer to the world is actually a blueprint of, hey, don't take this route to the top of Everest. It's not worth it. The view is not worth it. Don't do it because the one thing you can never get back is time.
Yeah.
Is your precious time. And
shut up, Meghan. I hate that she keeps like, yeah, I am so knowledgeable as you are. Like, no, yeah, time is the most precious thing you have and you can never get it back. So in essence, you have stolen time from your husband with his family. You have stolen time from your father away from his grandchildren. You have stolen so much. So don't sit here and talk about, oh, time is so precious. Oh, da 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 da. Yeah, but time is only precious because you only see it as time being precious to you and your time, not anybody else's time. That is the most egotistical, self-serving, narcissistic. I am getting really upset now because this is someone who has done so much damage, not to one, but to two families, saying, time is so precious. I understand you. I feel you. I get it. No, then try to mend both families and stop taking away time.
And the amount of time, Meg, that I wasted on being stressed, being miserable, being overwhelmed, being paranoid about what shoe was going to drop. You know what? I actually think I would have been more successful had I not been like that.
But can you turn it off? I say this because last night I was just, when your brain goes in a loop, those 3 a.m. loops, and it's just like you can't stop.
I know.
Thinking of the thing and how are you going to address that? And oh gosh, with that.
I'll go ahead and let you know how you do that. It's practice. Just with anything else, it's practice. Yes, we've all had those times. It's like, oh, da, da, da. But I go back to Martha and Mary. It just takes practice to stop. Then focus your attention on whether it's self-care for yourself or family care. That's it. It just takes practice, but we all can get there.
Packaging, and I want the packaging to look like this, and that's not the unboxing experience I had in mind of how are we going to pivot? And does it matter?
I think you have to really take a deep breath and say, you know what? How big of a deal is this? And I would size it up.
Yeah.
Is this going to matter? I used to use the rule of 9, so I like the number 5 better. So will this matter in 5 minutes? Yes. Is it going to matter in 5 hours? Yes or no? Is it going to matter in 5 days? Yes or no? If it's not going to matter in 5 years, throw it out the window. Who cares? If this is not going...
Okay, no, I don't like her advice. I think I like my advice better because it really just... her advice is okay, think about it. So you're already thinking and she's asking you to think about it some more. Is it matter in 5 minutes? Does it matter in 5 years? No. Take the Martha and Mary story. It's 9 p.m. and you're worrying about stuff. Let it go. You won't be able to fix anything other than you're going to put more strain on your marriage. You're going to put strain on your family. You're going to put strain, and you're not going to be able to enjoy that time, that stolen time with worrying with your family. So no, her advice is not something I would take. I would rather take the Martha and Mary story. Just practice on being present in your family and in your life.
Going to be a defining issue in your business, your life, your family in 5 years, you'll be fine. And so when you're ruminating in the middle of the night, you're like, oh, but the box came out the wrong texture. Well, is that a problem in 5 months? Not really, because you can switch that box. You can get a new box in the next few weeks.
Right. And will anyone else know what the box was supposed to look like?
No.
Right. That's the other piece. But I think so much of it, especially at launch.
Yeah. I get it. Trust me, I get it.
And first impression and the pressure. And I try to compartmentalize it and say, okay, all I can control is this extension of my essence and my aesthetic and what I want to share with people. But, I think in that.
What is her essence or her aesthetic? Did you guys get anything from her launch? Did you guys get her essence? Is her essence the flower sprinkles?
Focus on the details. At what point can you release some of the attachment to it, right? To be completely attached to the process and attached to the intention, but in some ways detached from the outcome.
I mean, you have to detach from the outcome. You have to. It's a little bit like the way we talk to our children. It's, did you try your best? Did you really give it your all? And if you didn't, if you missed the meetings for the packaging and you let it slide till the final hour, then that's not great. But if you gave it your all and you really, you did what you could, your team did what they could, and this is the way it ended up, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be great. And I also think that, candidly, energy is everything. And I think if you're so stressed launching, your customers will feel the stress.
Yes.
And so it's almost like shake it off. It's like,
Oh my gosh. No, I'm not learning anything. But I believe what she's trying to say is self-reflection. You have to self-reflect. And I've talked about this many times in this channel, because self-reflection is about, okay, what have you done? Are you happy? No? Okay, then tomorrow you can change it. Okay, well, later you can react to it differently. That's what it is, self-reflection. But we know Meghan has no self-reflection. So what is she talking to Meghan about? It's like going over her head.
I'm not comparing our customers up for our businesses to the way our children pick up on energy, but there's something deeply intuitive and brilliant about the way children can read energy. You know, if you're stressed, children can feel it. I also feel that there's an intangible, invisible energy attached to launches, attached to products, attached to all of this. And so you kind of want to like do a happy dance for your products and send them out the window, because like that happy energy is going to land in someone's kitchen counter, and you want that for them.
Are you guys doing like witchcraft or something? Because I do not want anything with the spirit attached to it. What? So their products have like a spirit attached to it? I don't know.
So I think it's kind of like, just shake it off.
Yeah, and infuse the joy into it.
Just joy.
The why of it all was always in the spirit of sharing something that I loved, sharing a piece of what I loved that people maybe hadn't been able to experience. And I wonder for you, because your boys are a little bit older now. Do people know their names? Can I say their names?
Yeah.
Okay, so Bobby and Henry are a little bit older now, but also still in the same age bracket as Archie and Lily. Do you find that going through all of this as a mom was different than prior to, and your perspective was different?
Oh, yeah, totally. I mean, crazy different. I think being a mother, as you know, nothing comes before that. Nothing. Right. I mean, they're extensions of our soul and our heart, and their well-being is our well-being. And so I think it forces you to prioritize in ways that, for me, I never did before. I mean, prior to Bobby's birth, I mean, even up until I was literally delivering, I was opening my eyes at, God knows what hour, hitting it immediately on that laptop, immediately on phone calls, immediately pressure testing emails, stress, like make it better. What more can I achieve? What more can I achieve? And I could just like burn myself out, right? But I was fine because it was just me. Like, who cares? It was just me.
An autopilot.
Yeah, boom. Like, whatever, I'll be fine. I'll work through.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so this just goes back to learning what you have dealt with, and they put another ball in their family, meaning another child, right, that they have to juggle. So she's just gonna, and I can assure you of this, she's just gonna go like, I had to take care of myself for my children because I was tired all day, every day, and I couldn't be a 100% mother all the time. Whether you have children or not, that should always matter. You should always matter. Your family should always matter, regardless of having children or not. You should always put your health as priority and not die for the job and not die of exhaustion, because not only are you going to essentially be drained, but that is going to stress your marriage, your family, your everything, your unit. So regardless of you having children or not, it's essential for you to take care of yourself. Meghan, just invite me.
Beautiful. I'll work through a cold. I'll work through exhaustion. But when you have these little angels and they need you and they need a good version of you, it literally forces you to make choices and to prioritize. And so I think the thing that has changed for me is like, I have zero issue now saying no to things that don't matter. The way I look at it is like, okay, I can either be doing that thing or I could be with my children. And if that thing is not going to add to the lives and the well-being of my children, meaning it's going to enhance the outcome of the business or it's going to enhance the member experience of the business, like, why would I do it?
It's not high value enough.
No, not right now.
And you've learned to create boundaries, which I think...
Well, see, that's what I'm talking about. You have to learn to create boundaries before you even have children, or or anything. Like, you have to learn to create boundaries, period. And this just goes back to the Mary and Martha story. Just make sure that you put yourself first and you put your family first before money, before a company, before anything, because your family can be gone tomorrow. We don't know. That definitely is something that I hope doesn't come with experience, that I'm hoping that people learn this not because they have to, but because they know, because they know that family is more important than money and more important than work.
Is so important.
They're important.
In business, it's so key, especially when you're talking about in the grind of a business where you have a small team, and then once you scale to a really large team, that they can have a touch point with you, but there's also a boundary so that you're protecting your own energy.
Wait a minute, a boundary? Weren't you the one that woke up at 5 a.m. in the morning and was emailing and texting your staff?
You're protecting the relationship with the team as well. But you can, I talked to a couple other founders about this, the pressure that they feel to be the cheerleader for everyone. Yeah. And all of that makes sense to a certain extent, but also who's cheerleading you. And maybe that shifts once we have a solid family network, as both of us do, to be able to, and girlfriends that can fill up the cup in that way. Mm-hmm. And we both have.
Oh, she doesn't just have a family, like a unit. She has a solid unit, okay, guys? A solid one, just to make sure that you know that it's not just a family unit, it's a solid one.
Very similar experiences, though we didn't know each other at the time, with postpartum.
Yeah.
And we both had preeclampsia.
Oh, God. Can you believe we both had that? It's so rare.
It's so rare.
It's so scary.
It's so scary. And
why is she laughing? Preeclampsia is not a joke. Regardless of, like, what? I've never met anybody that has preeclampsia that says, I have preeclampsia. I can't believe it, sir. Like, everybody's like, no, you know what? I have preeclampsia. It's more on a serious note. Why is she laughing?
You go and you're still trying to juggle all of these things, and the world doesn't know what's happening quietly. And in the quiet, you're still trying to show up for people. And in the quiet, you're still just trying to show up mostly for your children.
Yeah.
But those things are huge medical scares.
I mean, life or death. Truly. It's like really scary. I mean, I'll never forget the image of you after you delivered Archie and the whole world was like waiting for his debut. And like I was, either just becoming or about to become a new mom. And I was like, oh my God, how is this woman doing this? Like, how is this woman putting on heels and going and debuting a child in this, beautiful.
Oh my goodness. You see exactly what's happening. Megan's not talking about it, but she's making her friend talk about, like, it was so difficult. See, it was so difficult to put on high heels. What?
Outfit in front of the entire world. Like, I could barely face a doorbell delivery for takeout food, like in a robe. I was like, please don't look at me. Leave it down the street.
Why can't I be back in my cocoon?
Postpartum is wild. It's so wild. And it's almost like one foot in one world and one foot in another world. And it's a very confusing place to live in. I wonder if it's how we were raised to think like, oh, once you're a mom, like that's the primary goal. But it's, it's so funny. I can't distinguish if it's society or if it's an innate feeling in me.
Yeah, I don't know if it's nature or nurture. I think you also have to layer in the fact that we became moms in this post-pandemic culture too, where there's so much more working from home. And I wonder if it would feel different. Like, yes, you'll still travel for work, as will I. But I wonder if I don't leave the house to go to an office. My office is here.
Right.
So oftentimes, Lily still naps. She gets picked up early and she naps, and she only has a half day in preschool.
Right.
So if she went...
Did you hear her stutter? Oh my God. She still naps. She's still in what? In daycare? Preschool? Oh, okay.
wakes up and she wants to find me, she knows where to find me. Even if my door is closed to the office, she'll be sitting there on my lap during one of these meetings with a grid of all of the executives, and here we are. And I think, you know, that could have something to do with it, but also I wouldn't have it any other way. I don't want to miss those moments. I don't want to miss pickup if I don't have to. I don't want to miss drop off. And
I don't either.
And I think what I do love the most about having young kids in this chapter while I'm building is the perspective that it brings.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're building something while your child's going through potty training.
Yeah, you're like, hold on, sorry. We're having multiple accidents around here.
And both are just as important.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, great, okay, where's the Cheerios? Well done. And then you're championing your team 10 minutes later about something that is really high value for the world, but in your own world, that's super high value. And in her world, that's super high value.
I love that. I think that
pancake mix, flowers, and honey is not high value. What are you talking about? I'm so glad this is almost done. We got 12 minutes, guys. 12 minutes.
perspective is beautiful. And I don't think they're all that dissimilar. I mean, because when you launch a company, it is a baby of some kind, right? Like there is such an emotional attachment. It's something you do in a different way, obviously, but metaphorically birth, right? Like you conceive of the idea, you work it, you grow it, you agonize over it, you love it, you have all of this energy towards it. And then it's out in the world. Like Bumble, I always say, is like my first child because I just gave it so much of me, you know, and so much of me is in it. And so I think it's just making space for all of it and allowing all the beautiful chaos to exist. And I love that my children know that like mommy's going to a meeting because mommy works. And, you know, I think it's shown them that like there's structure and there's times during the day for play and there's times during the day to be serious and focus and get things done. And like that's how things progress in the world, right? Like that's the way it works. And I also think to your point, technology is a beautiful tool for parents because you can dial in and be present and do a great job on the call while you sit in the carpool line outside school.
Oh my goodness, this is just getting a lot more boring than I thought it would be. I haven't learned anything, guys.
It's so true.
Right? Like, why do I need to be at a desk? I have the same mental opinion in a carpool line.
Yeah.
And so that's the path. That's the path.
I think that's such good framing. And so now with you coming back in with a different perspective post-sabbatical, how are you going to, you don't have to reveal all the secret, but your idea of being able to re-engineer it in a way that even despite those changes or because of those changes, with those changes, in honor of those changes, how you expand that greater thinking about beginning with the love of self to create something that might be even larger than you had even originally imagined.
I'll frame it this way. If Bumble from 2014 to 2024 was about women making the first move, 2025 onward is about making the first move for yourself.
So good and inclusive in that.
It is inclusive.
Yes.
It's inclusive and it's bigger than just women versus men. I think the blessing of having two boys has really shown me that. You know, the last few years has been a huge learning curve for me because I was on this quest of like, boys don't treat girls well and men don't treat women well. And this is a man problem and this is a boy problem. And I really learned like, this is not a boy problem or a man problem. It is a self-hatred problem. And guess what? All the industries go out of business. We like ourselves. The anti-aging companies don't have a future. Botox is gone. All of it's gone if we just...
So wait a minute. Did she just say, okay, this lady just started saying that she had some abusive relationships, right? In her 20s or in her college days or high school. I don't remember when she said it. But now fast forward to the very end. Now she's saying that it's not the boy's problem. It's like our problem. Like what? I am learning more about the way she thinks than about business.
Liked ourselves the way we were. And so that doesn't mean you can't do self-improvement and you can't, you know, love to dress up and wear your favorite makeup. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying like we have been programmed to hate ourselves
or to have to find something to fix.
Yeah, like we have to always be a project. And so that's what's about.
But with this it's so great because it goes right back to what you were saying earlier about the energy and the ripple effect from the very first origin with Merci before it was Bumble, of the idea of with one compliment and the ripple effect of that full circle. 11 years later, you're creating a larger ripple effect of the very thing you've been talking about from the beginning.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I mean, that's how I look at it.
So it's your essence.
this is what it all comes back to. It's just putting your goodwill and your problem solving energy into the world, and it enhances. And I think what's funny about what you were saying earlier is how you were like, oh, I'm stressing in the middle of the night or this and that. I think my piece of advice, if I can give it, is like,
always, please.
You're such an amazing.
That's why we're here. We were waiting for you to enlighten us with some amazing confession of a female founder, of an entrepreneur, but I learned nothing. Nothing. Nada. Zip zap. Nada.
Hostess, and when you go to your home, you're just like engulfed in love and coziness and yumminess, like both from just like the energy and the surroundings of the things you feed us and like the way you treat us. And I think like just carry you through and the rest writes itself.
I love that so much. I have all these notes I haven't looked down at. I haven't looked at any of my notes. I'm sure I've missed all sorts of points, but I've just loved being able to chat, because I think it's our friendship coming through, but also just who we are as moms, as women, as people who've gone through our own unique experiences, but are able to see it through a lens of how can I help other women specifically, but other people who are also on their sea.
You guys haven't helped me at all. I need help. Something to make $1 billion. Now I know why Meghan hasn't made $1 billion, because they just sit and talk about mommy stuff.
In search for what they want to put out into the world authentically with their essence, and how you reorg yourself.
Yeah, you got to do it. We got to take stock.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, imagine if they had given us a bottle of rosé for this conversation.
Oh my gosh, you're joking. It's so good. I was thinking that I'll just send wine and we'll just chat.
If anyone's ever wondering what lunch between us looks like, this is basically it, with like a couple of glasses of wine, and this is basically it.
It's exactly. I appreciate you so much. This was awesome.
I am here for you, whatever you need, anytime.
Thank you.
And everyone's going to get exposed to the real loving essence of you, and I'm excited for that.
Oh my gosh, you're the best.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, you're the best. Oh my gosh, it's done. Oh my gosh, I've learned nothing. Oh my gosh. All right, guys. It's been over an hour. We're done. That's it. I'm not going to keep you any longer. Thank you very much for watching. All right, guys. Thank you very much for watching. And don't forget to subscribe before you leave. Oh, and if you haven't joined my mailing list, make sure you do. I'm still working on my surprise on the side. But if you join, you will be the first to know. All right. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.